Holy moly, we got record price targets now on Palantir stock, some very familiar bulls, while the bears also reluctantly raise their own. But still, even though some of the bears are starting to wave the white flag, it seems lightening up their tone as well is added to the discussion. So let's go through all the analyst updates, and please let me know if I missed any significant ones from today. But here they are first, where it's pretty obvious how three distinct camps of analysts are positioned. So the first few we got here, Cantor Fitzgerald maintaining Palantir at a neutral rating, but raising their price target from $72 now to $98. Then we got Baird maintaining their neutral rating, but raising their price target from $70 to now $100. Then we got Mizuho keeping their underperform, but raising their price target up from $44 now to $80 per share. Then Bank of America, Mariana, one of the crowd favorites, jacking up from their recent $90 to now $125 price target, with Jefferies, known as a Palantir bear, still at underperform, pricing them from $28 to now $60. And further, we've got Wedbush, another Palantir bull, raising the $90 price target recently to $120, so below Mariana's actually still at outperform. And we've got UBS rising it from $80 to $105, and then another Palantir bear, RBC, raising it from $11 to $40, and finally Morgan Stanley raising it from $60 to now $95. Now, regardless if you're a bear, neutral, or bull on the stock, Palantir's price targets continue to climb just as the stock did. But more importantly, this happened after the earnings report that we just had yesterday, meaning that trajectories, even if below the current market price today, are still being raised up from the previous price targets, especially for the bears. Like RBC literally almost 4xing their price target from $11 to now $40, and plenty of other examples basically doubling their price targets as well. Now, the three camps here I mentioned, since we've got a ton of analyst ratings, you can pretty much tell based on the price targets as well, even though a lot raised their price targets even substantially. First are the bears. Essentially, they are still holding on to multiples for the valuation to compress. Now, never say never, of course, as fast as things can rise, things can happen on the opposite end. But definitely with the current earnings, the narrative continues to strengthen against the bears, thinking growth is slowing down. The one thing they've got is always pointing to historicals like Jefferies analyst Brent Thill, explaining how temporary multiples this high for a stock typically have gotten compressed rather than staying stagnant and growing into them over a long period of time. But how long this can hold out before Palantir breaks news on something else is something no one can predict exactly. Then we got the middle camp of analysts. Price targets continue to hover essentially where Palantir ends up price-wise. They like the business, the narrative, the products, even what customers are saying about them. However, it's only the valuation holding them back from popping up a mega bull price target way above the current price. Essentially, it's appeasing both camps where they aren't trying to knock the stock down, but definitely don't want to feel as responsible for making a bullish call when history has shown valuations compress quickly if something goes wrong. And then for this channel, probably more familiar are the bulls, who believe in the financials and the growth to meet those expectations, as well as loving the qualitative aspects of their business. I'm of course talking about Bank of America and Wedbush. These have the $120 and the $125 price target. Some argue they could be like the middle ground, but just more bullish. So far they've been proven right in the short term and have garnered the attention for it, but it's not for bad reason either, hyping Palantir up for no reason. Bank of America is in the camp of seeing government accelerate, and that has ultimately played out as of recent, as well as Wedbush believing they are so ahead of the AI competition and being the Messi of AI. They are too differentiated, therefore their lead allows them to soak up the growth of the AI wave more than their peers. So a very active day for Palantir for good reason after the monster earnings. I covered the summary of that in my last video, so check that out if you haven't. But as always, analysts are analysts, and ultimately none of this is financial advice, since your own personal situation, risk tolerance, and time frame, to just name a few, will warrant if you should have Palantir in your portfolio and the size of the holding, as well as what price you're willing to pay. That's all going to be different. But let me know your thoughts below, and I'll see you in the next video.